me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
I've ordered one of the pieces myself. You can now see a really ugly picture of me modelling it as best I possibly can.
Good evening, it's me, Fran. Welcome to the show. I wasn't live yesterday because I was over on my friend's channel, Gooner Gathering, so hopefully you got a chance to check that out. We went into everything, but we have very much more to get into today. I've been preparing and collating little bits of info all day, and there's still a lot to talk about. I think there will be over this entire Dubai warm weather training break till Arsenal face Crystal Palace in 11 days time. There are so many different things to talk about, and this whole situation with Arsenal is so complicated. There are so many different ways it can be solved, and we have so much to talk about today, so I can't wait to talk about it all with you. I've made a really interesting presentation, so please do stay tuned, and remember to hit the like on the way in and subscribe. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this stream. I really enjoyed our last one. I'm enjoying doing regular daily streams, but enough about me. Thank you for waiting through the intro. I like to leave it a couple of minutes to let people come into the building. If you're new here, my name is Fran, otherwise known as Golartzo. I make art like the stuff behind me, and then I also talk rubbish about Arsenal quite regularly, daily, in fact. So welcome if you are new. Let's see who is around. So Renee, hello, my favourite Leicester fan. I will draw Jamie Vardy for you soon. Ravi, thank you so much. The regulars, big up, Fran. How's it going, yo? Yeah, cold. I was gardening all day today at this like amazing house, but with snowflakes and trying to dig in frosty earth. So I got home and I just went straight into bed and just tried to warm up. But FYI, yeah, TMI, I mean, and Arsenal Manic, as always, coming straight in with the hot opinions. Many saying best transfer window would be the transfer of the manager out the club. They don't trust him with money. 700 mil spent, 26 signings, and regressing. I hear you, but I think, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your opinion, they do, in fact, trust him with money. I just realised my lighting was off. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling? It's been a day or so since the crushing defeat, us being knocked out of both domestic cups. So the only chance of silverware we have this season are the two big ones, which is Champions League and Prem. And today I'm actually going to look into how likely it is that we can go ahead and actually achieve silverware this year. We're also going to look at really in depth, like the squad and what we've actually got in terms of depth for each position. Also going to look at a few of the transfer rumours, of course. But I'll be honest with you guys, you may have noticed that I have barely discussed transfers. And to be honest, I'm just not that into, like, I don't want to be like insulting to those who really like the transfer window, but like silly season, if you know what I mean. I hate investing all my energy in players and then finding out, like, just getting disappointed when they don't come. So I prefer to wait till like someone's definitely coming in, then we'll do a deep dive on them. But we can talk about who's being discussed. I don't want to go too deep into them because I don't want to get my hopes up, then get all disappointed. But we all talk about Onana and a few other names. Get your questions in the chat. So much to get into today. We're also going to look at Mikel's press conference, look at updates about warm weather training, just everything that's happened over the last day in Arsenal, all in one place. Welcome. So let's get into the presentation for today. So you might have noticed S.O.S, save our season. Clever, right? No. But yeah, how can we actually fix this ridiculous run of form and do what we set out to do this year, which is win the league or go very far into the last stage of the Champions League? Because it still can happen. And first of all, we have to look at basically how bad things have actually got to work out whether we can really escape them. So the situation at Arsenal currently at the moment, it was actually a little worse than I thought, because we're actually 5 points behind Liverpool, who are top of the Premier League table, having played the same number of games as us, and potentially will be 3 points behind City when they play their game in hand. I was saying we were 2 points behind the leaders of the league, but no, in fact, it is 5 points already. However, that by no means is like an insurmountable gap. Arsenal being 10 points clear, we should know that more than anyone that within a few weeks things can change. But to have been top at Christmas and then have this horrible run of form to now be 5 points behind, it's so damaging. I just seen Connor, big up. Are you getting your own YouTube channel, Connor? I heard TJ saying about it the other day, but Connor's like one of my favourite YouTubers and of course the best editor ever. Every good Arsenal intro, he makes it. So do go and subscribe to him on Instagram, cmo.editing, if you have not already. Also a very nice guy. Oh, Tyrell Gunner TV, hello. Big up Golartzo. ST is needed, striker. What's your thoughts on Onana being linked from Everton? Okay, we might as well just get straight into it. So Onana, the question has been asked. Let's get into it. So the most likely incoming at the moment, as you say, is Onana linked from Everton. And my initial thoughts to this are like actually really good. He's a hugely physically dominant, like great carrier of the ball, really great in tackles and interceptions, heading the ball as well. Really physical presence in midfield. One where when we usually play Everton or teams like that, we go like, oh, this guy's going to destroy us. So the criticism of a lot of our guys is that they're weak and soft and not up for like the physical battles. Well, if you want to inject a bit of that into the team, then bring in Amadou Onana. And to be honest, the thought for me of Declan and Onana, maybe sometimes Jorginho, but that kind of physicality with Declan Rice, in order to just kind of completely protect like anything from the counter if Mikel's still worried, which I don't think he really needs to be, and hopefully allow the forwards a bit more freedom going forward. I think it's a good signing, but my question is whether it's what we need the most, and I'm really kind of toing and froing on that. I hear that it could be like a loan deal, so we'll have the money to do it. If it is a loan deal, then by all means, like, go for it. But then 50 mil obligation to buy, that's 50 mil, quite a large chunk taken out of our summer transfer window. So there are good parts and bad parts. I'm not 100% sold, right? Also, there are cheaper players that you can go for, like Fofana, who's like 35 mil and apparently does kind of the similar box-to-box role, which might be a little bit smarter rather than just going straight to the Prem. I mean, so my final take on it is like, actually, if it happened, I'd be happy. I'd be excited to see our midfield, and it's a real like much needed boost of strength and power and like aggression, like dog. Oh, I'm never gonna say that again. But then I don't know. So I guess I'm quite keen on it, but like, I know some people are saying like, oh, don't do it, it's too much money and stuff, or like aim higher. But I think I really like him. It's just whether 50 mil is like, can we justify that when we're so tight on funds? Like, could we be spending it better in the summer? I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh my gosh, Renee just said you should be happy because Chelsea are losing against, is it Middlesbrough? No way. What's the score? Guys, what do you think about Onana? Let me know in the chat and I'll bring up a couple of your comments. But that's my Onana piece, basically. I'd be up for it. Not my money, but I really, really want us to go. I want us to have enough money to buy like a top class striker in the summer. So hopefully that won't affect that. But if we're looking for a midfielder to solve the box to box thing, I think it's kind of admitting that they didn't really make the right choice with Havertz, would you say? Or is it just like another option in that left 8 position? Perhaps. I like it. Let me know what you guys think. Oh my gosh, so guys, 1-0. Chelsea are losing 1-0 to Middlesbrough. Hilarious. That somewhat lessened the pain, but I'm in no position to laugh at Chelsea. We've just been the first team in the Prem to be knocked out of the FA Cup in this state in the 3rd round. So, you know what? Like, they got further than us. So, what can I say, really? I can't laugh at them. Anyway, that's my take on Onana. But let's go back to where we just were, which was looking at whether the Prem is like actually redeemable. I think it is, but having said that, we're out of all domestic cups. So what they really, really need to do now is go ahead and win the Prem and get really deep into the Champions League, as far as I'm concerned, based on what my targets were at the beginning of the season and the fact we came so close last year and then spent 200 mil. Anything less than that for me would not be good enough. And it's still possible. So the question really is now is how do you turn this around and actually make sure that we crush it the second half of the season? And that's what we're going to talk about today. But let's have a look at a couple of your comments. We'll go to skip a few of these slides. Where's the cat one? We need to find the... Sorry, one sec, guys. I can't look at chats until we've got the little cat slide up where he's like reading comments. There. Okay, it's chat catch-up time. So now I can read your comments. So big up, Fran, says Anthony Herbert. Hope you're well. Just seen the show you was on last night. Oh, thank you so much for checking that out. Yeah, it was a really good show. I wasn't sure like how it was going to go. I haven't been on with those guys for ages, but it was actually such a good chat. That's Gooner Gathering. If you guys haven't subscribed, like they were the first channel I ever went live on YouTube on. So they're really close place in my heart and they're really supportive, just really nice guys. So do go and subscribe to them, Gooner Gathering. They're so lovely and know a heck of a lot about Arsenal. So go over there. Thank you so much for checking it out, Anthony. I appreciate that. Smash up the likes and subscribe. You know how it goes. You do know how it goes, people. And I know it's annoying. More than I stream, I watch YouTube. And I get so fed up being told to hit the likes. But it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's got to be done, unfortunately, apparently. I wish they changed the algorithm so you don't have to do that. Because, like, I just want to chill and listen. I don't want to have to turn on my phone, hit the likes. But anyway, please do it. That would be good. Fran, thoughts on Julian saying Arsenal doesn't need a striker? I haven't actually seen the video, to be fair. I'm not like massively into fan cams and that. I'll watch Turkish's one, maybe James as well, but a lot of them, like, to be fair, just seem to be like mad opinions, like just for the sake of views and stuff. So I don't know, I'm a bit like, ugh, fan cams. Arsenal do need a striker. Over Julian, although I've met him, nice guy. Big up Julian. But I would rather listen to Righty, who said we need a killer. Do you guys remember that? So I'm gonna listen to the opinion of Ian Wright. I think it was Righty. Over Julian, yeah. And it's clear that we do need a striker, because even if perhaps what we do in the second half of the season, what we did last season, is getting the most out of all of the players in our team. So they score, what, 10, 15 each, your Sakas, your Martinellis, Odegaard, and Nketiah. Jess from She Knows Arsenal is making some really good points today, saying that they should be, at least Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard, they should be assisting a really top-class striker. And also imagine if they were getting those numbers. I think it's too much pressure on them to try and be wingers and like Odegaard's position, like supplying balls to they need to be supplying balls to someone as well as like scoring themselves. And that person is not Nketiah, or it could be a player similar to Jesus that actually gets the numbers. But imagine them as like adding to a really great attacking option rather than all of the pressure being on them. I thought that was a really good point. So we do need a striker. It's just whether they can afford to get one now, or we have to wait till the summer and just make do with what we've got, which is pretty grim to think about, bearing on like basing on how poor their form is. But yeah, let's look at a couple more chats, then we'll get on with the presentation. So Brenny, what's up? Saying evening, Fran, and to all in the chat. Good evening to you, Brenny. Remember, you can talk to each other as well in the chat. Feel free to just talk to each other. You know, this is a safe space for everyone. Onana is not for me, says Anthony. I think we need a striker and a left back. Also, a backup player for Saka will be good in this window. Yeah, that would be great. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just not sure it's like the first priority. It's like a bit of a weird one to me. I think it'll be a good signing, but we need other stuff more. A backup player for Saka is one that we've needed. We haven't bought someone to play in that position in 4 years. Like, it's beyond desperate at this point. And you want Saka to be competing with someone too, like to keep his levels high, because it's so easy to like, he's not the kind of guy that wouldn't push himself, but you do need that threat that someone else is nipping at your heels to get your position to really keep pushing on. So a backup to Saka would be fantastic. Hey, Gooner Gathering, speak of the devil. Hello. Hello, thank you for joining. Brenny saying we have to win something this season or the manager has to go. I'm in that boat. Jordan Hyman, what's up? Renee says, do you know Charlene Smith from AFTV? No, I do not, but I think she's great. She's great. She does like the marathons and stuff, like big up. I could not. What's up? What's up, Niall? Hello, Fran. Arsenal need to be ruthless and get signings in now. Completely agree. Oh, Cincinnati saying that picture of VSR makes me sad. We really mismanaged that player. Tell me about it. I'm wearing like the hoodie of that, of that style. I love drawing that picture. It makes me really sad too. So yeah, I'm not happy about the ESR thing. Fran, I'll get you on the channel once I start it again. Who says I want to come on your channel, Connor? Gross. I'm kidding. I love you, man. That would be awesome. Please, I'll be first on your channel. Shared it. Thank you. Okay, right, let's get on with the show. Oh, that's a new section that we're going to do every day from now on. Pick of the press, see what people are saying. But first of all, let's get through this. Let's get through Mikel's post-match presser. I can't avoid it forever. So let's just whiz through it, see what Mikel's got to say. In the words of the famous Curtis Shaw TV, it's waffle time, waffle settings, get your syrup ready, because this man is about to speak pure waffle. If we learn anything, it will be a miracle. Sorry, Gooner Gathering, I know you like Mikel, but his press conferences sometimes are intolerable. So when he was asked why we didn't score today, because the ball didn't go in the net. Oh, it's going to be another one of those. We didn't take the chances. I haven't seen any other team in the first 6 months that have generated what we have done against them in the last 2 games, and we're not capitalising. Where's the full stop? Not today. In the last few games, that's why we're not winning games. Performance-wise, merit-wise, there's no question. A good point. But to win the game, actually, the results say something very different. When my team plays with that attitude, with that courage, with that desire, and do what they've done to possibly the best team in Europe at the moment in terms of momentum, what can I do? Stay behind them and support them. Yeah, really good. He makes a really good point. The fact that we're like dominating in terms of chances and stuff, and he can't, what I was saying the other day, like take control of them, like shapeshift mannequins to make them physically make the right choice in front of goal. He's done all he can in terms of that isolated match to set up really well against Liverpool. We had so many chances, of course, but it's the final touch that is just really missing. Like the players are so underperforming. So I get what he's saying, but then it's like you do kind of have like the blame is ultimately on you, in terms of like it's your team that you've constructed. Like if their confidence is low, that might be on like you have to take responsibility for that. It's interesting that he says stay behind and support them and stuff. It would be nice if he said like he's kind of blaming them on not capitalising. It would be nice if he said, like, it's my responsibility, and, like, you know, he's very happy to take the credit straight away when there's a win, but I don't know, is he kind of putting on the players there? But I don't know, I'm just so, like, scrambled at the moment. I don't know what to think. I have like 100 thoughts, like, I like him, I don't like him, it's the player's fault, it's not the player's fault. So if I'm not making any sense, like, it's probably because I'm just mega confused, okay? The whole thing is scrambling my brain. So anyway, on calls from the supporters for us to sign a striker in January, hopefully we'll learn a lot from this answer, guys. What I beg the supporters to do is that they are behind the team that they've done in difficult moments. That doesn't answer the question, Mikel. Stick with the ones we have. They are incredibly good. They are. They're just not firing at the moment. If not, they don't do what they've done again today in Anfield and here. So if we don't stick, so they're incredibly good. If not, then they wouldn't have dominated the game, is what he's saying. Stick with them. It's exactly what they need, that we are fully behind them. Then they feel important and supported because they deserve it with their attitude, and they don't deserve anything different. That's my opinion. So in a roundabout way, to me, that's saying it's unlikely that we're going to sign a striker, and he'd rather we support the players that we've already got and encourage them to get back to their full form. But I don't think you can put it on the fans. That's not our job. And I know that in the stadium, our fans are like 100% behind these players. So yeah, we're going to talk about this idea of not signing a striker and just trying to make the most out of what we've got. Lottie, man. So this is my twin sister supporting Manchester United. She says, love Arteta's press conferences. You just find them funny, like all his weird. I wonder if he does like a weird metaphor, extended, like long paragraph about telescopes or the M25 today. Let's see. It's not a long one today. It's only like 2 or 3 more questions, so don't worry. Cincinnati saying, that hoodie is epic, by the way. Thank you so much. I was laughing because I saw Connor's invite saying, fine, invite declined. No, please, Connor, please. I was just trying to banter. I hope you're joking, please. Curtis Shaw, waffle settings. Yeah, put the waffles in the chat. Thank you, Cincinnati. He knows the drill. Gooners Gathering saying hello to Lottie. A question. I will star it, Anthony, for just after I've whizzed through this press conference. I feel it's got to be done. I want to see what he's saying. Yes, that's my twin sister, Lottie. She tends to hop in and out sometimes, but she's my boss as well. That's why I do gardening. It's a long story, but I love her to death. On the frustrations of good performances not becoming positive results, it is frustrating, but what can we do? I cannot tell them to play bad, don't shoot. Liverpool is going to score an own goal and we're going to win the game. I don't know how to create a game plan like this. It's impossible. What are you talking about? Stick with them. If we have 18, next time we have 35, and continuously do that, the ball will go into the net. We'll generate momentum and we'll win lots of games, that's for sure. That's pure waffle. I don't even know what he's trying to say there. I don't know why he dances around the question. Like, just answer the politician, Mikel. On Jesus' injury, he had some pain in his knee, so we did a scan and it showed something. That sounds ominous. Hopefully it is not something big. It's the same knee that he had previously injured, so we cannot take any risks. Hopefully it's not a big one. If it's like a re-aggravation of his old injury, then you've got to be really careful with that. So they're asking again, they're trying to say, like, are you going to bring in a striker? We keep forgetting as well, like, our main striker, Gabriel Jesus, is out injured for who knows how long, weeks and weeks. We've got to bring someone in. I just don't think it's going to happen. Unless I'm already like setting myself up for disappointment, but I keep forgetting our main striker is out. It's crazy. So one thing is what we need, one thing is what we can do. Again, saying like, is it actually possible? And what we need to do now is to stay behind those players. Right, that's it. I haven't actually read this press conference, but he's saying stick behind the ones we've got. To me, this is saying like, okay, it's one thing is like we need it, but can we actually do it? Stick behind the players, like. So he's acknowledging that we need a striker there, to be fair. Like, he knows it, and I'm sure he is desperate to get one too. But due to the profit and sustainability rules, it's whether we can actually pull something off. And then I have to look at, like, why are we in that position? Like, has there been a mismanagement of funds? For example, I'm not putting it all on Kai Havertz, but maybe the Raya thing, Havertz bringing in players that haven't so far banged, like Fabio Vieira, players like that. So just whether it's actually possible or not. Yeah. So on the risk of not scoring chances becoming a psychological issue, it probably has. Interesting. Especially after today, more than it was against Fulham, more than it was against West Ham. That's why we need to reset. The break comes at a good time because they're going to feel how we feel, how I feel about them. Blah, 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 blah. This is waffle. Why Eddie didn't start. Tactical. Whether Jesus will travel with the squad to Dubai. I think so. Right. Last one, guys. Last one. On how difficult this current moment is right now. It's very difficult, but if the team is getting hammered and not playing well and not deserving to win football matches, I would be much more worried. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. We could be playing terribly as well. And even you guys who are Arteta out, you can't say we're playing terribly, So I'm worried because I love winning, me too, and I have to win many more games. At the moment, that is the thing we have to change, and probably what has to be reset is up here mentally. Okay, yeah, I've got no problems with that. Oh no, Anthony saying Jesus is out for 3 months. Well, in that case, you've got to be doing everything you can to bring in a striker. That means our only out-and-out striker is Eddie. If he gets injured, then you're kind of playing people. Trossard, he's fantastic up front. I think we can survive, but it's whether we survive versus thrive, If we really want to thrive, then we got to get a striker in. This is crazy. Guna Matters. Hey, Fran. Hey. Thank you for coming to say hello. So what are you guys saying about that? Hey, what's up, Gemma? Saying Lego Man Arteta, you know it. Why does Jesus always get injured before big games? Maybe just doesn't fancy them. Lottie getting lots of love in the chat. Arteta gets no smoke for dishing out contracts for Eddie and Reece. It's come back to bite us. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, has it? Because arguably they've still got value. I think it's a really good idea to do that so that we can sell them. But at the moment, it looks like he's holding on to those guys with every cent in his body. And we're getting reports that they don't want to sell any of them. You need to sell. If you want a chance of bringing in a striker in January, you've got to sell. Why am I not hearing links really, apart from possible Eddie to Crystal Palace, of any of our players outgoing? We need to bring in some money before we can buy anyone or even pay average loan fees. The money just is not there, and we can talk about why that's the case another time. I think, what did you really blow so much of your budget that there was nothing left for January? That was such poor planning. Yeah, anyway. So happy new year to you too, Guna Matters. I'm just laughing because it's on caps lock, so I'm kind of shouting it back at you. If we do not make the correct decisions, then a striker won't put it in the net. Yeah. What you mean in terms of how the team is set up and stuff? Gemma saying, I love Saka, but the kid needs a rest. So clearly, we've been saying that for months and months and months. We haven't bought a right wing backup for 4 years. Saka's been carrying that position and arguably this team for 4 years. We're just gonna burn him out. I would love it if in this window we got a right wing competitor for Saka, but I don't know. At the moment, all that we're hearing from Arteta is that we've got to manage with what we've got. We've got to get the most out of what we've got, and it's just really not sounding very promising. I wouldn't be surprised if we sign no one. Sad to say, but my hopes have died for Ivan Toney. After hearing basically from Brentford, it's 100 mil or nothing, and we just don't have 100 mil. I don't think we can scrape together 100 mil from selling our scraps. It's just not possible. And then again, you have to look at why. Like, surely we should have the money, but that's a whole other conversation. Lottie saying, hey everyone, thanks for the warm welcome as always. Happy New Year to everyone. Oh, thank you, Lottie. Happy New Year to you too. I hope you're relaxing after a hard day of work today. And that applies to all of you. Jagan, hello, saying signing Onana doesn't make sense. He's good, but yeah, we touched on that at the beginning. It's a striker is much more important, I think. We're actually like relatively okay in midfield. And yeah, well, I'm going to go through exactly who we've got in the squad so we can kind of see our actual depth and where we need strength, where we don't. Yeah, it's not the real pro. Like everyone's saying, need a striker, including Ian Wright. Go get up, get a killer, you know. Ian Rouse, big up every time. Everyone is. Oh, hope everyone is well. I just read that as like everyone is well. Good. Hope you're good too, Ross. You've just missed waffle settings, so I guess you came in at a good time. We learned nothing really apart from more hints that we're very unlikely to sign anyone in January, and I'm bracing myself for that already. So anyway, let's keep going. So we looked at some fun stats. So just again, you guys have probably heard these stats, you know, about how bad our striking is. 124 shots, only 35 of them on target, and 5 goals in our last 7 games, in which we've won 1 match out of 7. Just really bad, really bad. Big up Danny from a Bergkamp Wonderland. I love that guy. So if you don't subscribe to that podcast, then you should. But we know this already. Like, we can't score for anything. So I thought it would be interesting to actually go onto the Arsenal website and fully just take stock of like our official squad, like what we've actually got. So I went on the website, like screenshot and stuff. Credit to Arsenal. And if you're watching, you can see on the screen basically all of our registered defenders for the Prem. And in red, you can see injured basically for now, or away. So unavailable is Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, and Timber, meaning that available, we've got just basically we've got White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Kivior. That's it at the moment. And Cedric. So we have 5 defenders, and we play 4 at the back. Like, it's really bad. I don't know how long. Do we know how long Zinchenko is going to be out? I know Tomiyasu should be back, praying that he doesn't get injured at the Asia Cup. And then, of course, you'll be able to see, if you're also looking at the screen, that there's Lino Souza, Rule Walters, and James Sweet were also registered. Arsenal can't even put a photo of them up, which kind of shows how like unlikely it is that they're gonna make an appearance this season. I think it's just insane that maybe they're not at the levels yet. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we've got 4 defensive spots, right, and 5 available players right now. If one of them gets injured, we've got no backups, unless you're talking about doing some mad stuff like bringing Bakayo back or Havertz back. It's really bad. AJ, thank you. 20 likes. We're halfway to the target. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Guna Matters saying Saka win the ball, pass to Havertz instead of passing back to Saka to pass it in, but not to be. Yeah. Perfect timing then, Fran, says Eros. Big up every time. Okay, bye. Take care of yourself, says Renee. Have a good day. Don't worry, just ignore my comments. It's okay. Hey, no need to be rude, Renee. I can't pull up every comment. I appreciate you so much. I try and pull up as many of your comments as possible. So I hope you don't think I'm ignoring your comments. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just hard to pull up comments whilst also trying to put together rational sentences. But I really appreciate you being here. And I'm sorry I can't read out every one of them all the time. Gemma saying, why don't you bring Ethan into the first team full time? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, we haven't seen any proper integrations of younger players in the last 4 years that Mikel's been here, minus like the odd like cameo appearance. So I don't know why that is, and it does seem to be so frustrating. Like, I find it so frustrating when we've only got 5 senior defenders, but yet you've got 3, younger, like, youth squad defenders that he's just, like, not choosing to, like, bring in at all. And I think you're talking about Ethan Nwaneri. Again, same question. Friend, huge congratulations on 745 subs. Thank you. AJ, oh my gosh, that's great. Thank you so much. Ultimately, we was all told Project Youth, but Arteta, it's not true. I don't know why though. I don't know why. I know that, like, we're desperate for players, so they just, like, not quite at the level. But then you're not going to know if they are up for it really without taking a bit of a gamble on them. Like, we didn't know that Saka was going to be as good as he was going to be before he was brought in. Sometimes you just got to take that risk, and I don't think they're going to be at a way lower level than Kivior, who's also, like, not super experienced in this league and stuff. Gooner Gathering saying Ethan is really close, but he's really young. I understand that, but we're seeing other teams bring in, like, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. They seem to kind of be coming in a bit younger nowadays. So Renault saying, anyway, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. That's okay. I'm sorry I can't read out all your chats. It's all good. I'll try it though. I'll try it. Malahai Hotspur, what's up? The nicest Hotspur channel, my friend. Everyone subscribe to them, by the way. Big up Golazzo, big up the chat. Thank you so much. Right, he's losing the dressing room. You reckon, Gemma? You reckon? Okay, bye, says Rene. Bye. I think what would be good is if on this warm weather training he was actually, like, I think what he needs to do is actually sit down, like, have an open chat with everyone. Imagine if he sat down and spoke and he says, like, or like, Raya Ramsdale, I'm so sorry I put you in this position. I know it's not been ideal for either of you, but, like, I really appreciate all the work you're giving me. And I know that some of you guys have not been happy with X, Y, Z. Like, I know that he just needs, like, a little heart to heart with the players, and, like, any, like, simmering tensions could really easily be dissolved, I think. But he seems like the kind of guy that doesn't, like, I don't know, that wouldn't want to kind of admit any wrongdoing, perhaps. But who knows what he's like in person, Fran, you are in or out? I'm in till the end of the season, basically. I'm giving him till the end of the season. Then it's definitely out for me. If we don't win the Prem, or at least be there on the final day and get really far in the Champions League. I just don't see the benefit in sacking him, like, right now, right in the middle of the season. I think give it to the end of the season, then we'll talk. But I'm certainly, like, really unhappy with a lot of stuff that's going on. And if they did say Arteta's gone, tomorrow we're bringing in, like, Zinedine Zidane or someone like that to save the season, I'd actually be kind of excited. So I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know. Cincinnati saying Arteta lives by the sword. Yeah. He's a little bit harsh, isn't he? Could have used the PSV game. That meant nothing. Why didn't he? Yeah, we've spoken about that so many times. It's so frustrating. Right. Anyway, midfield depth. Partey, Vieira, El Neni unavailable. And interestingly, Havertz is there in midfield, not up top. But it's looking actually pretty healthy in midfield, if we actually use Smith Rowe, full stop. Nwaneri perhaps could kind of be rotated in, but if he's not going to do it in the dead rubber against PSV, I don't know if he's still going to do it. But this is kind of why, like, if you look at that, we've got Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Jorginho, Havertz, and Rice. Like, that's pretty comfortable compared to our defence and potentially attack. Like, I don't think that's the immediate, like, signing that comes to mind that we need in January. But I do see how Onana would perhaps, like, take a bit of pressure off some of the attackers having to come back and, like, stop the counter so much, if you know what I mean. So up front, I forgot to rub out Gabriel Jesus. So he's out for 3 months. Pretend that he's covered in a red thing. So we've only got Saka, Martinelli, Nketiah, Trossard, Nelson, and Charles Sago Jr. But again, I doubt he's going to be brought into the squad. I would like to see Trossard given a lot more minutes up front. But Saka, Martinelli, and Nelson are basically the only out-and-out wingers. And then it's just Nketiah and Trossard, really, up front. And if none of them are banging goals, it's not enough squad depth at all, really, is it? It's just 4 of them. and none of them are real like killers in front of goal, as Ian Wright says that we need. So the Governators, hello, I believe you're a Liverpool fan, saying, from the outside looking in, Arteta doesn't seem to trust a lot of the players he's bought or given contracts to. Yeah, completely. Or is it that he doesn't, maybe he's just like not confident in bringing in a player that doesn't have exactly the same skill sets as that player that he prefers in the first 11, and then doesn't know quite how to like shake up the team in a sense to accommodate a different player. But another really good point that Jess from She Knows Arsenal was saying is that you need to have, the system should be king, and that players that come in with different qualities and play slightly different to one another, that are not just carbon copies of each other, can come in and like work around the system. Because instead it seems like if he's not got these first choice guys, then he kind of panics because like, oh, this player's different to Zinchenko, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how that's going to affect the chemistry of the whole team. I'll just leave him out. That's kind of the vibe I get. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, we're in a mess. We are in a mess. I'm still feeling really miserable. I still can't quite believe that we're out of the FA Cup as well. But me kind of being a pragmatic person, oh, go me. It's like, well, what can we actually do? What are the realistic expectations we can have for this season? Like, what should the club be doing? What do we want to see in January? So let's talk about it. Way I see it is that we're at a crossroads, but this is the kind of crossroads that we are at. And if you're listening and not looking at the screen, it's the Spaghetti Junction. I think it's in California or something, where there's like so many different things that could be done. The answers are not straightforward. Perhaps they are if we buy a striker, but we've already looked at that and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I wish I could wave a magic wand and we would buy a striker, yeah, but I'm not going to be deluded and think like that's probably going to happen and I'm just going to shout for that to happen, because I don't think it's going to happen. Is it? I don't know. The Mr. Arsenal podcast saying, could be worse, Fran, we could be Chelsea fans. We can't even laugh at them though. Like, they're still in the FA Cup. Oh, but they are 10th in the league, so yeah, I hear what you're saying. Are they out now? That is hilarious, actually. Yeah, that does take away from the pain a little bit. But so we're at a crossroads, right? Let's talk about kind of where Arsenal go from here. And I've written a very basic list, right? And I forgot one option on there, and you guys can probably tell me which one that is. So the options. Number 1, sign a striker. Right? I think that's the ideal option. That's what I want. That's what Ian Wright suggested we need. That's what everyone with half a brain cell knows needs to happen right now. Because even if it's just not going to hurt, is it? Like, even if our guys do find their form again, it's only going to help Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard to have like a really great gunman they can work with and bounce off, especially if Jesus is out basically till the end of the season now. Oh, AJ has said Chelsea are not out. It's a 2-leg semi-final. Okay, if you can let me know the final score. AJ, thank you. AJ also saying Onana for 50 million, pay the extra 2 million for Zubamendi, buyout clause. Yeah, for the better player. Yeah, I hear that. And ultimately, why put 50 million on Onana instead of a striker? Yeah, that's my issue with the Onana thing. I just don't know if, I mean, it'll improve the team a little bit, but barely. Eros saying up the borough, come on. And Gemma saying, Mr. Arsenal podcast, can't believe they lost. Yeah, a lot of Chelsea laughter going on in the chat, and I'm here for it. I love the Chelsea saga. It brings endless joy. Another option is sign someone else, so maybe sign Onana, which I don't know, could happen. Number 3, sign nobody, which is kind of what Arteta's suggesting might happen. I'm terrified of that. I'll be so disappointed. Or 4, which I've highlighted in white, which I think is probably the most likely, which is maybe a loan or 2, and then work on the form of the players that we already have, because we know that these players can do it, right? 10 or 15 goals each, all between like 4 or 5 of our players last season. We know that they can score goals. However, even that, I'm kind of like doubting it, because Arteta in his press conference before the match said like, or was it after? Was basically saying like, oh, we knew they couldn't like maintain that kind of form, and that was a one-off season, that was an exceptional season. So then it's like, if you knew that these guys weren't going to score 10, 15 goals each again, what did you do to change that? Was bringing Kai Havertz like your solution for knowing that those guys were not going to be able to maintain that form up front? And then you've brought Kai Havertz in, but he's on the midfield page on the Arsenal website. So you didn't bring in a striker, and yet you knew that they were going to drop off. So I don't really get that. But yeah, what's probably most likely, I reckon, is they bring in a loan or two, hopefully one up front, maybe one in midfield, I don't know, and then work on the form of the players that we already have. But as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal bring in no one. So what can I say? Gooner Gathering saying it's 1-0 Middlesbrough. That's hilarious. I'm going to enjoy Matisse's video after this. The Governator's saying it's not all doom and gloom. Beat us in a few weeks and it's 2 points. So still in the race. Oh, I know. I hear you. And what we're going to look at now is actually like how we can like turn it around in the last part of the season. But I appreciate that. Are you in a band, by the way? Is the Governators a band? That's awesome. I'm also in a band. I'm in a band. But yeah, I like your like band like logo. It's cool. Cincinnati saying, I wish we'd sign Kvaratskhelia from Napoli. Never going to happen though. Yeah, I feel like we're missing out on quite a few kind of more less obvious signings, you know. And someone was saying today a really good point that Richard Garlick, he's got loads of ties within the Premier League. So all his links and contacts are within the Prem. So naturally, like, he goes to other clubs in the Prem for what he needs. And I get that, because Prem proven and stuff, but you are having to pay a lot of extra money because they're from the Prem, and perhaps you're missing out on like more, yes, like less obvious talent out in Europe. So I don't know. Oh, Lottie, hilarious, saying, I hear Weghorst is a good loan up front. No. We've learned from your mistakes and we're not doing that. We are in danger if we do go out and get a striker on loan of doing like the classic Manchester United stopgap thing. You know how they brought in Ronaldo, Cavani, Weghorst, who else have they had in? Basically everyone. It only puts a plaster on the problem if you just get like a short-term solution. But if it's a short-term solution that will get you over the line to win the Prem, then I think it's worth it. BX, hey BX, saying give me Lewandowski on a 6-month loan. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. Me and my boyfriend were talking about that, saying like absolutely we would do that. Because I think he's at Barca, right? I need to watch more European football. I get so confused. Who's like at which club? Yeah, he's at Barca. Sorry, I do know about football a little bit, I promise. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. But is it actually being spoken about? Or I would love to see that link. Come on, like that would be amazing, especially since we're making so many chances. The governor is saying, yeah, I used to be in a band, just do home recording now. Oh, that's awesome. I'm trying to save up for my own home recording setup for my music and stuff. So that's awesome. I love that. We can do a music chat another time. Morris Muneni, sorry if I said your name wrong, saying love your content. Thank you so much. I haven't seen your name before, so it's cool to know that people are like listening and watching, even if you're not in the comment section. AJ saying I'm an Arsenal fan, but always speak my mind on the club. Fran, what football team does Lottie support? Manchester United. That's why her joke, yeah, I should have explained, saying I hear Weghorst is a good loan up front, was very funny, very funny. Benzema available on loan, would take him in a heartbeat. Me too. But isn't his loan? No, his salary is crazy though. Benzema salary, yeah. So no, how much does Benzema earn a week? yeah, he's earning like $4 million a week. Yeah, I just don't think we can make that happen with our like wage structure and stuff. But I would totally take it. I would totally take it. So yeah. So warm weather training. The club. This kind of ties into. We've really screwed up the last few weeks, but if, like Arteta is hinting, it's going to be really difficult to actually bring anyone in, especially a striker, especially when he's asked about a striker, and that's where he says, like, I don't know if it's going to be possible, and that he knows that we need one, but just he doesn't know if it's going to be possible. Then the other option is, can we get that exceptional form that we saw last season from Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Jesus, although he's injured now. So I guess Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard. Maybe Declan Rice could start to add in there as well with some goals. Trossard. Can we get their exceptional form, which Arteta said was a one-off, back in some kind of miracle? But I don't think it should be a miracle. I don't think he should be putting that in the minds of the players that was an exceptional season, that was a one-off. They should be aiming to do that every season, you know? That if I had done that and then I hear my manager saying like that was a one-off, like we can't expect that every year, I'd be like, oh, like I thought I could do it again, but screw me, I guess. So I don't agree with those comments. But so how does he get the best out of the team again? Is there any chance he can reinvigorate them and get that form back? I personally think that warm weather training is a really, 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 really good start. And I know some people are saying that they don't deserve to go away to Dubai, like lock them up in England. I think it's a really, really great idea. And that's like for a few reasons. Chris Welch, what's up? Just subbed. I'm a Liverpool fan. Came up on my recommendations. Hey, at least you aren't Chelsea. Yes, hilarious that they've lost, but I don't feel like we can laugh at them. They're still in the FA Cup. We can't laugh at anyone right now. I just have to take my medicine and just go like, yep, fair enough. So Chris, congratulations on your win the other day. We're hoping in this bit that I'm talking about that Arsenal can somehow re-energize, reinvigorate, like give their heads a wobble and come back really strong in the second half of the season and hopefully beat you guys at Anfield. So fingers crossed. But thank you very much for subbing. I really appreciate that. I love following like every other fan channel as well, like whatever club they're from. So welcome. Lottie Sini saying, I'm debating my decision to support Man United at the moment, to be honest. Got a soft spot for Arsenal, of course. I really hope so. I really hope so. I'm not going to tell the chat why you support Manchester United, but Lottie has been with me to Gooners v Cancer events in London, like 2 of them, and she's met like Tom Canton and Dan Potts and Simiu and all that stuff, and Mike from Gooners v Cancer. And she's still like refusing to be an Arsenal fan. It's just out of order, to be fair. Governor is saying Matisse is in proper meltdown, so his review should be good. I love his reviews. I love his reviews. So I'm going to go straight away and watch that. But I'm still like, I can't laugh too much because we've just done the same thing. But yeah, it does help. It does help. AJ Envoy, welcome. Lol Lottie, I hope you don't support United because of an ex-partner. You need to support the Gunners. You've sussed her out there. You've sussed her out there. I will say no more. I will say no more. Anyway, so warm weather training. I'm for it. I'm all for it. So I used to do quite like sort of regional athletics. I've done sports all my life, team sports. My main one was field hockey, which is pretty similar tactically in certain ways, like 11 players on each side. You're trying to get the ball from one end of the field to the other. So although it's with a stick and a ball, Lottie coming back with no comment. Yeah, you sussed her out, AJ. The tactics are really similar. But anyway, so after that, I was into athletics, and Lottie came with me. But when we were training, we went and did warm weather training with like the rest of my athletics team and stuff, all the way over in Tenerife. And it was so positive for so many reasons. First of all, you're way less likely to get injured if you go over to do warm weather training, because your muscles in England, especially when it's so cold this time of year, you really have to make sure your muscles are warm to prevent injury. And it's much more likely to get injured when you're in a nice warm temperature like Dubai. You have to pay less attention to warming up so much, like your muscles are ready to go, less likely to get injured. And God knows that Arsenal do not need any more injuries over this training break. So that's good. Also, I think the change in atmosphere from cold, rainy, freezing cold, by the way, London, get out there, get into the sun, will do a huge thing to like reset their mind a little bit, like take a mental break, as well as going out there for like a physical holiday and break. I know that they've been allowed to like bring their partners and families out, which is lovely. So it is still training, but it's like a holiday as well. And when we did warm weather training, it was so much fun, because what we did, we spent half the day at the track, like training and stuff, but the rest of it would be going out, like having meals and stuff with friends. And it was just amazing. Like, and we managed to get such good training in too, but it was in a way more relaxed and less pressureful environment. So you're having fun whilst training, not stressing so much, not worrying so much. Like all the troubles of London and social media and the fan base and stuff seem like 100 miles away. When you're out there, you're just having fun and enjoying the football or athletics or whatever it is. So in that sense, I think it's the perfect way to like stop overthinking so much about the game and just do what I've been calling on Arteta to allow the players to do, which is like get intuitive about football again and enjoying it. So what I'd really want them to be doing out there, and on this slide you can see that an article from Now Arsenal saying Arteta plans like team bonding and stuff, which I'm actually all for. Yeah, so he's planned to do some team bonding activities to help lift the mood in the Arsenal camp. And also we know that sunshine is a huge thing for the mood. So even something as simple as like being in the sun can be a huge, you know how it is in like the cold winter months, that'll be a huge like mood lift. Just being out there in the sun, in the warm, not having to wrap up in 20 million layers. I mean, I wish I was out in Dubai right now, especially being a gardener. So I think it's exactly what the team need. And I just hope that there's enough like lightness and funness out there to really take the pressure off and like enjoy your football. And I hope they're just doing like silly shooting drills and fun stuff. And it's not like towards the end of the camp, yeah, I'd be starting to really like get back into serious mode. But right now, just let them enjoy their football, right? And it seems like that's the kind of thing they're doing out there. So lads, enjoy it, like relax, remember why you love this game, why you love this team. And I think this could be a really good way to reset, but we've got to make sure that they get back into serious headspace before we come back and play Crystal Palace. But I think this is actually a really good time for this to happen. Cincinnati saying, oh, it's a pick from last season. But I looked it up on Twitter today. Well, my bad if it's a pick from last season. It's just, I think they're at the same place. Sorry. Oh, it might be actually if there's like Xhaka and those guys. I don't know. I can't really tell. But yeah, okay, we'll go back to Saka relaxing on a yacht if I've got the wrong season picture of training. Chris saying, fair play to you for congratulating us. Others can be biased and make excuses, but you don't. Fair play. Yeah, I mean, if you looked at my, thank you. Yeah, if you looked at my post reaction stream, I was just saying it looked like men versus boys out there, and Klopp was just like taking the mickey out of Arteta, really. Like, I really rate Jurgen Klopp as a manager, and I actually don't have a problem with Liverpool. I quite like Liverpool. So yeah, welcome. Yeah, it's not very tribal around here. I want the best for Arsenal, but I love like looking at what other teams are doing well and stuff as well. So I'm glad you appreciate that. Cincinnati with, AJ saying, true, my muscles are way more stiff working out in the cold than during summer. Completely. You're so much more likely to get injured. So you got it. Cincinnati with the important question saying, is Win the dog going with? I really hope so. It's unfair for her not to get a holiday too. So I hope she's out there. Question for Arsenal, please. If anyone can find out, we must find out. Lottie is saying, I sure hope Win the dog is going with them. Me too. You guys know I will defend Win till the ends of the earth. She's a good girl. This is not her fault. The governor is saying, Lottie, you're an Arsenal fan, just accept it. You're getting there. Chris saying, it's okay your fans saying a striker. I understand that. But I always felt start of the season, your options off the bench, excluding Trossard, are poor. Yeah, our bench is better than it was, but it's still really, it is much better than it was last season. Last season, it was like starting 11 or nothing. But now we do have, Trossard and Nketiah. Jorginho's okay, but a lot of our good bench options are injured. So yeah, it is really weak at the moment. Who else have we actually got in the squad? Yeah, Emile Smith-Rowe's great, but so that's not a weak bench option. Reece Nelson, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's just that you're not seeing quite a lot of it as an opposition fan because he's never playing them for more than like 2 or 3 minutes, but they're actually good. So Eros saying they train in sunglasses. I hear you can get like wraparound sunglasses that are like flexible and you like tie them up at the back. So maybe they train in them. I don't think they'd be training in like their Gucci sunglasses and stuff. I don't know. Chris saying, likes of Saka, Martinelli to me don't look same as last season. I put that down to being overplayed with fatigue from last season and no good competition and cover for them. You're spot on. You're spot on. You're seeing it with a lot more clarity than like the coaching staff seem to see it. We're wondering why they're dropping off form, and it's that there's no real competition for either of those positions, and they're just like knackered and mentally like it's too much pressure for them to have to carry the team for like 2 full seasons, if not 4 full seasons. Hey, what's up, Luca? Mosen saying, hi, I think we should do something in Jan. Hello, new name in the chat. Thank you for joining. I think we should do something in Jan in order to at least be in the conversation for the league or the Champions League. Every January, our team is not complete to play its football. Honestly, it's frustrating. I completely feel you here. And the only reports we're getting is that whether it's actually possible or not. But the fact is, if we sell some of these players, it will be possible. And as you say, I think the chances are so slim of us actually being able to, be in the conversation for the league or the Champions League without us bringing in reinforcements, crucially a striker, in my opinion. But we could use some help at defence, to be fair. But like striker for me. And yeah, it's just so frustrating because I know that the excuse is from Arteta and those guys right now that like it's not possible. But first of all, it is if you sell. So I want to be hearing links about our players being sold, which I'm not hearing. I'm just hearing like random like rumours about players that might come in, might not. And second of all, why has our budget for the entire year like supposedly just been blown in the summer? Why did they not leave any like money in the pot for January in case stuff like this happened? Because last year this happened. This always happens with Arsenal. Our players are so injury prone, and you just thought like, oh, all right, we'll spend everything in the summer and then have nothing left in January. Like, is that what's happened here? Because that seems to be what's happened here. And I don't mind spending a lot of money in the summer, but did you spend it correctly? And are we now being hurt by the David Raya thing, for example, or Kai Havertz coming in? I don't know. I know those guys get scapegoated a lot, but why do we have no budget in January? What is that? Anthony saying, I feel sorry for Smith Rowe. He should play more, in my opinion. Preach that. Right, Fran, like the Edgar Davids prescription glasses from the 90s. That's a bit before my time, but I know the ones, right? AJ, what really upsets me about ESR, he earned the legendary number 10 but can't get a game when Arteta gave it to him. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. He's got his favourites. He freezes players out if he's not feeling them. I don't think he gives players a fair chance, and that includes the youth players and our more peripheral players. But yet he gives players like Eddie endless chances and Havertz endless chances. It would feel so unfair if I was a player in the squad, you know? Eros showing my age. No, not at all, sir. Not at all. I'm a 90s baby. But not long into the 90s. Other news, Thomas Partey and Jurriën Timber will be joining them out there. So everyone's back together. It's a feel-good trip. Lovely. I hope it does the job. So can we still win the Prem? That is the key question. So I've got a little look at who we've still got to play in the second half of the season. And obviously we come back, we're facing Crystal Palace. And also I've had a look at what key matches like City and Liverpool still have to play. It's basically everyone. But if we have a quick look over at this, So we've got Palace, Forest, then the big one against Liverpool. If we could get 3 points there, that's like a 6-pointer, you know. As the Liverpool fans that are kindly here in the chat are saying, that would be big if we could get the 3 points against them. And I would certainly feel a lot more comfortable going into that if we had a new gunman up top. You guys know that I want Ivan Toney, but that one seems to have just been ruled off as like scratched off the list, like not possible for many reasons. And I'm gutted about it. I'm so gutted about it. And I would still go for him in summer. I really, really believe that he has got the potential to become one of the best around. I wouldn't say like in the world, but I just got this special feeling about him, you know. He's at the age where he wants to really prove it and like prove everyone wrong. And I think he's the kind of player where people are writing him off saying like, oh, I wouldn't get him in the summer, and like he'll be saying like, I will prove them wrong. Like people might be agreeing with those guys writing him off, but like Ivan Toney is not. He's just that kind of guy, so I would love him. Anyway, yeah, so we've got that Liverpool one. If we can get 3 points against them, then we're just 2 points behind them. They then things are real close then, you know. We're just 2 points behind them. They lose a game, we win one, win a couple, and then we could be back on top of the league, you know. So this collapse happened within 2 games, and I know it feels like 100 miles away, but within a few games it could be reversed, you know, especially with Salah gone in January. It feels like a million miles away, but it really could reverse just like that. And as I say, it would be great if we had a striker to kind of improve our chances in this thing. But after that, we've got West Ham, Burnley, Newcastle at home. Newcastle, they've won 1 in 8. They're in pretty poor form themselves, so it's not as daunting as it might have been. But I'd be expecting wins at Palace, wins at Nottingham Forest, beat West Ham. Oh my God, not West Ham. Oh no, I just remembered how poorly we played against West Ham the last 2 times. Obviously, they knocked us out of the Carabao Cup, and then we played them at home and lost 2-0. And Rice had a really poor game, and it was really bad. But if we're saying that we've come back from warm weather training, all of these games, by the way, I expect this to be on like a newfound winning streak for Arsenal, turning the season around type thing, redemption settings, you know. Being knocked down but getting back up stronger, coming back strong, proving everyone wrong in the second half of the league. That's what I want to see. And if it's not happening, then I'm losing my head. So anyway, the best case scenario, right? Then we've got Sheffield, Brentford, Chelsea. I'd expect wins there. Sorry, Chelsea. And then the big one, away at Man City. Again, if we could maybe get 3 points there, that would be fantastic. We've already beaten them once this season. Amazing. Then Luton, Brighton. Tough match there as well. And then we finish off with an actually okay-ish run. So Villa at home, Wolves away. That could cause problems, to be fair. Spurs away. Oh, that'll be a big one. Oh, I see us dropping points there. And hopefully we'd get 3 points, Bournemouth at home. I don't know. I'm just looking at these, and last season we lost 5 games in total, I think. And we've already lost 4 this season. Like, in reality, if we want to win the league, we can lose 1 of these, maybe get a few draws. So it's a really, really tall task. Really tall task. But if they do somehow manage to bring in a couple of players and like reinvigorate the team, bring them back to that great form, then it can happen. It can happen. Do you remember the team of last season? If you put them up to this kind of challenge, it could happen. But maybe I'm just deluding myself. I don't know. Let me know. Posh is here saying, have you finished the press conference stuff? Yes, I have. It was not a good one. We learned nothing apart from that we probably won't be bringing in anyone. So let's see what a couple of you guys are saying. I thought you were younger. I was born 2000. Oh, no, I'm 97. So I'm 26. Yeah. Ah. Cool. I'd rather look younger though, you know, it stands me in good stead. So Chris saying you could do with centre-back cover and a natural centre mid or play Zinchenko there. You're so right, Chris. You have so much more clarity on our situation as a club than as I say, our entire managerial team at Arsenal. I've been saying Zinchenko, just bring him into midfield and play natural left back, which we don't actually have one fit at the moment. Therein lies the problem. Maybe bring in a natural left back and play Zinchenko in midfield. I completely agree with that. That's where he thrives and does all his best work. His defensive play, being a fullback, is like the worst part of his game. So I'd be totally for that. But then we don't have any defensive cover really at left back, apart from Kivior, who is a centre back. So Keown and Gallus had 14 and 10 respectively. Exactly. Last season we had enough goals. We scored 88 goals. That's more goals than has ever been scored in an Arsenal season. We have the players to score enough goals. It's like the form's not there at the moment. If you can reignite that form, then it's no problem. Cincinnati, remember when guys in high school used to wear them during games? I nearly bought a pair of those wraparound glasses. 79, me 45 this year. Arsenal makes you feel old. 79, me 45 this year. 45 is young. Don't worry. Mathematics, we can win the league, but I bet my right arm we don't. I would probably also bet my right arm, like my actual organ. Is an arm an organ? Or is it a limb? I don't know. Cincinnati saying Eros on some superhero-ish. Lol, Gooner Gathering. You guys are going down memory lane in the chat. Saying I was 6 weeks old in the 79 FA Cup final. We beat Man United 3-2. Did you hear that, Lottie? 3-2. Lottie, did you hear that? Good old days. I was not born, but those were the good old days. Man, nowadays for me, losing to West Ham is worse than losing to Spurs. I know, they're so nasty, and it's such a bad look that they're so bitter about the Declan Rice thing. Like, they hate him. They hate the fact that he came to Arsenal. Like, it's such a bad look for them. Like, it's nasty. Chris Welch saying, I think it's a blessing that you get Toney in summer rather than now. True, that's an interesting point. Toney ain't going to be sharp coming back from betting ban. Training don't do much for sharpness. He needs to be playing games. You're right, actually. Like, that is a really good point. But even like an unsharp Toney, I would reply is like better than the way our strikers are moving at the moment. And we've only got like one striker, which is Nketiah. Trossard, I guess, as well, but I don't know. I'd rather take an unfit Toney, you know? Oh my gosh, guys, the comments are going mad. Thank you so much. So anyway, before I get all distracted, let's see, like, are there any chances? We shouldn't be relying on Liverpool to drop points, but Chris Welch, like, let's see if you've got any really challenging fixtures. So they come back, relatively straightforward fixture, you'd think, against Bournemouth. They've got Chelsea, you'd think Liverpool would win there. Then the big one, the 6-pointer, coming to the Emirates. Oh no, yeah, they're coming to the Emirates. Are we at home? Yeah, we're at home. Yeah, because we drew 1-1 away at Anfield. And I feel like there are some scores to be settled. Like, I know you don't think, like, because we had so many chances we didn't take against Liverpool. It would be beautiful if we could get the 3 points. You know, Liverpool, you guys have won the league, yeah, in the last 20 years, okay? So maybe you could just like let this one slide a bit. Klopp, bring on the real youngsters again. Just like allow it, you know? Just you can't let City win the league again. Just let us, you know? Play the second team. Then they've got Burnley, Brentford, Luton, Forest. Four pretty easy games there. Then Liverpool have still got to play City. Hopefully, best result for us there would be a draw. So fingers crossed for that. And yeah, if we beat them, if they draw against City, then we're like 1 point behind them, right? And that's providing that they don't drop any other points elsewhere. And we can't rely, like, we've got to get our job done first. We can't rely on them to lose points and stuff. But I'm just trying to show that it is actually possible for things to turn around pretty quickly. Results depending, as again, they're missing Salah, so all is not lost. Then they've got Brighton, Sheffield, Man United. Pray for a Man United performance of the season there. Sorry, you Liverpool fans. So Crystal Palace, Fulham, West Ham, Spurs, Villa, and Wolves. They've got Spurs, then Villa in the last couple of games. They could trip up there. We've got a relatively easy run in. So there are potential points dropping there, and City the same. We're halfway through the season. There are still many difficult matches to play. Matches that stand out to me there. They come back and play Newcastle away. It seems like a kind of game that after a break, the Toon Army would be up for it. St James's Park would be rocking, when they're playing all the opera music and stuff. That would be beautiful. That would be great. Kevin De Bruyne is back, but maybe he's not fully match fit. Fingers crossed. Their game in hand is against Brentford, which is by no means an easy fixture, especially since Toney will be back. That'll be a great return for Ivan Toney. Come on. Then Burnley, Brentford. Oh, what? Oh, so they've got to play them twice. Man City, who's that? I can't see. Everton, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Man United, Liverpool, Brighton, Arsenal. That's horrible for City. So they've got Man United, Liverpool, Brighton, then Arsenal. That is not an easy run of games for City. Then Villa. That's horrible for City. That's a horrible 5 games. They're definitely going to drop points there. Then Crystal Palace, Luton, Spurs, Forest, Wolves, Fulham. What's that last one? West Ham. So a bit more of a gentle run in, but none of these teams are rubbish, apart from the bottom 3. I feel like there's the top few teams and the bottom 3, but then everyone else, the middle 12, 13, 14 teams, on their day, any of them can beat you. They're actually a really high standard. So that kind of gives me a bit of hope, Posh Bertie saying those last 6 games will get very few points if we continue like this. Yeah, let's have a look at our last 6 games, our run-in. So our run-in in May is Villa, Wolves, Spurs, Bournemouth, Man U, Everton. You're right. It really depends on our form. I mean, last season you'd be looking at them and expecting 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 points out of, what's 6 threes, 18, maybe 16 out of 18 points. But as you say, it really depends on our form. If we're not firing all guns blazing, then that could be a tricky run-in. Hey, what's up, Luca? Everyone go and check out Luca's channel if you haven't. What are you saying, Luca? I'm Fabio Vieira. Okay. Thanks for that, Luca. Arsenal and ourselves can't waste this opportunity in the January window. If we do waste it, then City will be laughing. Yeah. I feel like this weird partnership with Liverpool, us trying to overthrow the horrible City, and we do it kind of in a fairer way, without the oil money type thing. So I would much rather, actually, I'm not going to say that I would rather you win than City. I would rather we win. My whole thing was if City don't win, then Arsenal must take it, rather than allowing Liverpool to get back up in there, because we came so close last season. But if Arsenal completely drop off, I'd rather Liverpool win it than City, stop us being a farmers league and everything. Anthony said, I always said Fabio Vieira looks like Luca. I see that a bit. Fran, have you got any more dominoes left? No. What do you think I am? I finished that in 1 go last time. I don't keep. Is that a thing? Do you keep dominoes going for days? No. Max, I'll leave 3 or 4 slices for the next day. But yeah, if I'm hungry, it all goes. AJ saying Toney's been playing behind closed doors. Oh, okay. So I think he will be ready in case he can't get his move. So Brentford stay up. Fair enough. Maybe he is ready. Again, you guys are memory lane. Settings. I have a DVD of the 79 Cup final. Nice. West Ham fans moving like Degeneration X. Yeah, honestly, they're nuts. Magnificent Jafar, hello again. Saying sad, I'm late for the show, but as they say, better late than never. So hey there. We still got a little bit of time to go, but you can watch, you can go and catch up. It's okay. You go back now. That's all right. Yeah, we've been through press conference, kind of whether we think anyone's going to actually come in January, how I think warm weather training is going to help the team. No, just kind of where things are. And it's terrible. Basically, we've got to win the Prem or go like semi-finals of Champions League for me to be happy. Otherwise, big questions will have to be asked. Simple question. Yeah, put a few questions in the chat. Let's do a couple of questions and then we'll call it a day. 36 likes. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have not yet, our target is 40 likes. So we're 4 away. So if you haven't, I would really appreciate it. That would make my day. So thank you so much. Son, we've got 2 words for them. Gemma saying, I work at West Ham. There's a pic of Declan and old players and they throw stuff at the picture. It's so sad. That's insane, Gemma. Oh, that might be why you know the like the trade email of Arsenal. Because you sent me that on Instagram. I still haven't checked my Instagram, but thank you. That's so cool that you work at West Ham. What do you do at West Ham? I would love to work at a football club. That's so cool. That's crazy though. They throw stuff at the picture. That's vile. They're so bitter. They're so bitter. He went and won them the UEFA Conference League and I think was so gracious in the way that he left the club, and he stayed there for way longer than most people would. That's so sad. That's horrible. Anthony saying he's got a signed shirt from Freddie Ljungberg in a picture frame. That's cold. That's really cool. That's really cool. If your house was burning, I think you should save that before the family, you know. Just kidding. Simple question. If we offer Brentford the 50 million, Eddie and Vieira, would they take that for Toney? You'd have to ask Brentford, but we should be trying everything we can to do that. Do we have 50 million though? It seems like I guess it looks like we do because of the Onana deal. So maybe that's where you're coming from. But apparently that's going to be like a loan and then pay further down the line type thing. But they should be trying everything they can to get that Toney deal across the door. I think you bring in Toney, we're very likely to actually go on and win the Prem. So whatever money you're trying to save or stuff you're trying to save for the summer, that's going to pale in comparison with the benefits that, like pulling your finger out a bit now, like the financial benefits and things. Like you would not have to worry about summer money if you were to splash out however you could on Toney now, you know, like that would come with winning the Prem. So Mosen saying City definitely will lose to Liverpool at Anfield. I hope so. It would be nice if they had a draw. Yeah, no, I don't hope so. I don't want Liverpool getting 3 points. No, a draw, please, a draw. Sorry, we let it slide last season, not this time. See, that's the elite mentality, you know. Yeah, like please keep being you, so that us Arsenal fans know what it's like to want to win and expect it from the team. And it comes from the top down. I don't know if you've noticed the governators, like how in our press conferences, no one ever says, or there's never a bar set for our team that like we want to win the Prem this season. Just a few days ago, Mo Salah was like in an interview saying that they're desperate to win the Prem, like that's what they're expecting of themselves. And it's just like in Arsenal, they're too scared to say it because they don't want to then be like ridiculed further down the line if they don't. But I think you need to put those expectations down on the team and like, because it makes you accountable. That way, Arsenal do this because when we slip up, it means that they don't have to take accountability because they'll say like, oh, that's never the target we set, you know, we're just happy with the progress we've made. But you need to be saying like, our target is to win the league this season, and then to hell with the consequences if you don't. Worry about that later. What that would do for the mentality of the players throughout the season is make sure that they do everything in their power to make sure that it happens. Yeah. So I just wish they'd say that. I wish they'd say that. Be right back, said Gooner Gathering. Fran, huge congratulations on 752 subs. That's crazy. We got like 7 subs in like just while we've been talking. That's massive. Thank you, AJ, for letting me know that. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. People, make sure you subscribe to Fran's channel so she does good content on her shows. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are better than me at this. Please do subscribe. I need to remember to keep asking if you're not already. So you can hear me chat more rubbish about Arsenal. Hopefully some of it makes sense. But if it doesn't, then let me know why not. Old School Gunner, big up, legend, saying hi, Fran. Big up everyone in the chat. Hi, Anthony. He says hi, Dave. Ooh, I get to know the first name. Old School Gunner, aka Dave. Sorry, that was really creepy of me. Gemma saying AJ there. So you're saying all saying hello to each other. AJ saying I like the look of Santiago Jimenez personally. I've heard that name like bandied about, but I haven't looked too deeply like into some of these players. But perhaps I should. Maybe I should come up with a list of like players that I think we should go for. Maybe I'll do that. I'm making a note. Let's do a scouting video. Let's put our scouting hats on. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun. And look at some of these options that perhaps like we haven't heard links about with Arsenal that might be a good idea to look into. Thomas Frank would laugh. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Do you think they blow bubbles at Declan Rice's picture? Like, get that, Declan. I can get you a job in the stadiums. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. But unfortunately, I live like a bit far out from London. But yeah, I would drive in every day to do that. I would love that. But yeah, I live about a couple of hours away, so about 4-hour round trip every day. Chris saying, I'm a greedy man. I want to win everything. Some of our fans said, play a very weak team on Sunday. They're having a laugh. I'm glad we played a strongish team. Yeah, as another Liverpool fan was saying to me, it was Ensman the other day. Klopp plays the weakest team possible that he knows that will result in a win. And again, we saw another example of that. He doesn't go overly strong if he doesn't need to. He tunes it exactly right to where he knows he'll get the victory. And it's just such an elite, like little flex from him. Road to 1K, as Ross says, road to 1K. I cannot wait. We're definitely on the road to 1K. Things have really picked up recently. Now started streaming more regularly, so I'm super happy. It'll be 1K before we know it, and then it's big giveaway time. Big giveaway time. So yeah, please subscribe if you haven't. I can't wait for 1K. It'll be great. Did you know that Gunnosaurus is on a 75k a year in wages? No way, that's massive. Gemma, can you get me a substitute role as Gunnosaurus, please, if they're off sick? That's crazy. That's massive. Good on him. Good on him. He does a great job as well, so he deserved. You think that's low, AJ? I think that's a lot, but maybe that just shows like how broke I am. I don't know. Cincinnati saying, serious, how much is Win the Dog on? Win the Dog is paid in love, affection, and treats. Were you guys there the other day when we asked? I was joking about like, oh, what would happen if Arteta got fired? What would happen to Win? And then someone, he's not in the comments tonight, just commented that Win the Dog would get adopted or put down. We were like, Jesus, put down? He didn't even have an emoji or anything. He was like deadpan about it. That made me laugh. It was so horrible. Right, so we'll wrap it up in a sec. Do I watch the Big Six? Yeah, I watch the Big Six. Of course I do. If so, rate the panel. Turkish first, I guess. Ha. I love Turkish. I actually really love Turkish. That's not just... well, as an Arsenal fan, him and Curtis are like my top favourite guys in terms of like realness and like keeping it honest, and they're not afraid to be wrong. Like they're my top two, Turkish and Curtis. But actually, on the Big Six, it depends. Like Saeed's the funniest. He's so funny when he goes off on a rant. Even when like they blatantly call him out like halfway through the rant, he goes like, "That doesn't matter right now. That doesn't matter." So all right, okay, no. My real favorite is like Big Uncle Grizz. He's like the like sweetest man. Like you can tell, like he's like family first, but like his logic, he's great. Like, Grizz is just what a guy, like a great guy. They're all just great. Like Toby makes me laugh, like just with his sulking. Like when he's not feeling it, like he's not feeling it, and like he gets rattled so easily. And Matisse is hilarious when he does like like funerals for Chelsea, or like dresses up, or like those guys just crack me up. Hugh, though, I rate as well. Like, I just rate them all. If I had to say my... Okay, in terms of like who I watch the most, it would probably be Matisse, Turkish. Then I watch a lot of like City channels. I already watch much Saeed. Like, he's funny on Big Six, but I don't think I could like listen to him for ages. I don't know. Shut up. You're so right, Posh Betty. My favourite Big Six member is Skullthuggery, no contest. Yeah, that's a win right there. His compilations are amazing. I messaged him like just like it was like with a screenshot of something he'd done in the video, and like the guy is actually so nice as well. Yeah. I just what show. So yeah, it was. He just said win the dog would be put down. We were like, damn. So wow, Fran, this has been a brilliant show. Like, subscribe, and share. Curtains on the wall. Lee Gunner, Rat Army here. Welcome, rats. Saeed meltdown is priceless. And Saeed like trying to roast someone when his club is like in the gutter. It's so funny. I just love that show. But anyway, look, I'm out of here. This has been a really good show tonight. Thank you so much. I'm still like totally confused about Arsenal, and I don't know what we're going to do. I really do hope we bring in a striker. I'll be the happiest person in the world, like, if we do bring in a striker. Like, prove me wrong, Arsenal. Like, please say that you will actually bring someone in. But then I hope I've also showed that if we don't, and we do manage to, like, turn around our form of our strikers with all their great numbers last year, like, it's still possible that we can go up to the final day in the league. So, you know, fingers crossed. I really hope that we come back after this break rejuvenated, stronger, like looking back to our best. So yeah, hey, I've just seen this comment from Jafar saying, I had a tough time in Twitter earlier today over Mikel agenda. People think I'm too toxic for wanting him out, but the reality is I just don't think he's the man to win us major honours. And I feel so bad for you. It shouldn't be this like crazy divisive subject, and I'm so sorry about the Twitter crowd. Like, I honestly, I don't even go on Twitter anymore, like, unless to share my art and stuff. Because I did this one tweet saying that I was I was on a stream with Lee Gunner, and like people were messaging me like all these accounts, like just saying that was just a horrible decision. Like, why would I do that? Why would I give him the time of day and stuff? That was just for like being on a panel that Lee Gunner was also on. I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I'm so sorry that they did that. I think it's absolutely fine to be questioning. As you can question, is Nketiah the right striker for us? Is Raya the right goalkeeper? Is Richard Garlick the right like director of operations or whatever? You can say, is Mikel Arteta the best manager? I just don't think it should be so overly emotive. It's just fun discussions. We're just fans. It's like saying which of our players are the favourite, which ones we like, which ones we don't think are there, like whether we want them, like think this manager's good enough or not. It's a really fair discussion, really interesting. It shouldn't be shied away from, because I think you can learn so much from talking to people who don't think Arteta's good enough compared to people who do think Arteta's good enough, and then like find lots of interesting things like in the middle ground. I don't think you're being too toxic at all, but I would say just keep it on YouTube. YouTube, a lot more flies, whereas if you put any of this stuff on Twitter, like it causes uproar. But on YouTube, like people are a bit more real and normal, and you can say that you don't like Arteta, and most of the time it's going to be absolutely fine. So I hear you. You're welcome here, right? Fran, that's when I invited you on my stream with Lee. Yeah, Jez, I got so much crazy stuff on Twitter, and they were telling me to like, it just, you know what went down. It all went crazy, and I ended up like apologizing and actually upset. Like, yeah, it was a whole mess, and I ended up like, it was such a mess. I ended up like upsetting Lee Gunner because I turned around and said like I shouldn't have done the stream with him and stuff, and that was just like I didn't even say anything. Yeah, Twitter is just, I just don't even go on there anymore. YouTube's much more cool. So yeah, Posh said, I just said to them, if you don't like Lee Gunner, don't watch the stream then. I would try and defend it though, and then like 10 more people would just pile on, and I was getting people in my DMs like yeah, it was crazy. Like, and that stuff on YouTube is fine. I just think like don't even put it on Twitter, you know. Yeah, exactly. Niall's saying it's the stuff you wouldn't dare say to a person's face. I didn't get nasty stuff. It was just like the amount of backlash And then I ended up like apologizing for it, and yeah, it was nasty. But big up Jez. I was so upset. I was like crying and stuff because I didn't know what to do, because I didn't want to upset Lee Gunner, but then I didn't want like all these people on Twitter who like have worked with me, like collaborated with my artwork, like other big Arsenal YouTubers, basically saying that was like the wrong thing to do, and it was just, I was so caught in the middle, and it was so horrible, and I've just been scared to go on Twitter since, honestly. Yeah, Bertie dealt with it much better. Yeah, so big up Bertie, big up Gooner Gathering. All right, a couple more questions, then we'll go. Fran, what's the most painful experience you've ever experienced as an Arsenal fan? Me losing to Chelsea in the Europa League final, still gutted. Yeah. So if you, I think you're quite new to the channel, but I've been into like all sorts of sports all my life, but only recently, like since I got with my partner, who's like a lifelong Arsenal fan, maybe 8 years ago. That's when I really got hardcore into Arsenal. So like, and even then I was like casually watching till like a few years ago. So I'm like a baby Arsenal fan, and honestly, like I watched like the horrible times, like since the end of Wenger really, and like Unai Emery and Arteta out like during the first couple of years, but that was kind of just what I'd been used to seeing. Like it was just the norm, like, oh, supporting Arsenal is shit, if you know what I mean. But so that wasn't too bad, it was just like miserable. But then I think last year, like having all the hope, and like I like actually managed, like a few people like convinced me to say like, right, I actually think we're gonna win the league, and like I was so excited and planning, like people were telling me I should plan like my trip to London and stuff for when we celebrate, because of all the street parties and stuff. And I think having that taken away in such a like dumb manner of us just like screwing it up was so painful. Like, and I'm still like really in pain from that. Like, and I think the players are too. The manager was traumatized. It was just awful. Right now this is bad too though. Like I think because I had such expectations, like it's painful at the moment because I had such expectations that like, okay, we were so close last season, let's just kick on a little bit. We just need to sign a Granit Xhaka replacement and a striker, and we're there. And then the fact that that didn't happen, there was all this craziness with Kai Havertz, then this has just been like a slow, gradual realization that like maybe it's not going to happen this season either. And that's really painful. So I guess I'm just getting used to the experience of being like a full like Arsenal fan. But I love the roller coaster, I'm not even going to lie. So yeah. Static, big up, saying, magnificent Jafar, keep your head up. You're right. Arteta is finished. He will not get Arsenal to win trophies again. Keep fighting the good fight. Arteta out. Yeah, Static, always consistent with that opinion. And like everyone, you should be allowed to have that and not be shamed for it. It's crazy the way that Arteta outers are treated. Like a lot of the time, you guys are, like much more polite and reasonable sometimes than a lot of the top Gooners, you know. So. Yeah, worst apart from me Birmingham at Wembley, awful. For me, it's the 10-12 aggregate defeat to Munich. Try going to school the next day, horrendous. Yeah, it's crazy. Right, guys, I've got to go. We've been on for a long old time. I will be back tomorrow evening, you know, about the same sort of time, 9:30, 10 p.m. That's kind of when I finished for my day. I've got a bit of time, had my dinner, we can chill. So I'll see you tomorrow. I need to think about something to talk about tomorrow, but maybe there'll be some news. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you for hitting like. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for commenting. And I'll see you all very soon. Static again saying, Fran, I'm sorry about your experiences on Twitter. YouTube and Instagram are so chilled. Yeah, for sure. Like, for sure. Twitter's just, Twitter's different, honestly. Arsenal, the history and more. Big up Jez saying, losing 8-2 at Old Trafford. Biggest shocking loss I've seen every yeah. I'm so glad I didn't see that. I'd have lost my head. Right, yeah, take care, you guys. See you later, Static. Thank you for joining. See you later, Gooner Gathering. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much, and have a good rest.